is also for individuals that are in diversion programs, our treatment courts, some other areas. And I'm glad you shared that the 500th enrollee is in the last cohort, because I actually didn't realize there were that many people that had gone through the program. But it's a powerful program. You do something the county can't. And that is when people come out of a treatment court or they come out of jail, other than probation, there's no real way to follow and support and work. And you do that, especially in the R3 program. When they're hired, you let the employers know if there's an issue, come to us. You let the graduate know if you have an issue, come to us. We're here to help you succeed. And success is getting on your own feet, becoming the best version of yourself, and not going back into the system. And by not going back into the system, that is a fundamental bottom line cost savings to the taxpayers of Berks County, because the jail and the criminal justice system is overwhelmingly funded by local property tax. We collect 179 million, almost 180 million annually in local property tax. A little over $100 million goes to the jail, public safety, and criminal justice system in the county. So it's big.
Thank you.
You're an awesome partner.
I've said it better myself. We feel the same about the county and the commissioners. Thanks very much.
If I could just add one thing, I think at the graduation ceremony that we all get an opportunity to attend. I just think my favorite part is when we hear from the graduates who talk about what effect that the program had on turning their lives around, saving their lives in a lot of cases, allowing them to get a job so they can take care of their families. It's really inspirational. So thank you for all of that. I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I think the other important thing is that to note is the amount of the participants that start versus those who graduate. You normally have maybe one or two drop out, if that. So that's a really high number of people that finish the program, and you normally don't have that in 8-week program. So great job.
So you can tell we're all on board, and we're fans of the great work that you do. Okay, continuing. One item under Commissioner Santoni, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Leo J. Hanley, Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, to the Reading Public Library Board of Trustees to fulfill the remainder of the term, which will expire on December 31st of 2029. There's several items under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing Cody Kaufman, Esquire, First Assistant County Solicitor, to execute and submit the solicitation directive on behalf of the County of Berks in the Purdue Pharma LP et al. Number, doesn't matter, bankruptcy proceedings. Without going into any significant detail, this has to do with the monies that have come to the county and will come to the county in the future from various federal lawsuits of various pharmaceutical companies. This is probably the most famous of the group, and the family has gone back and forth with that various deals. I think we're close to finalizing the money that they are going to have to pay into the system. Cody, I don't know if there's anything that you want to add, but we appreciate your work, and I'm sure others on the solicitor's team have put time and energy into this as well. It's complicated, but it's important. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing a letter of support for the Berks County Conservation District application to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection Growing Greener 2025 program for a stream and floodplain enhancement project along the Cuckoosin Creek in Sinking Spring, requesting funding in the amount of $416,000. Again, this is not funding from the county or the county taxpayer. This is through a PADEP program, and we are, by voting for this, we will be authorizing a letter of support on behalf of the Conservation District. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing Kevin S. Barnhart, Chief Operations Officer, to execute the agreement with a performance construction company to perform site investigations on county property at the Stone Cliff Recreation Area as part of the construction of the new 19th Ward pumping station. The agreement shall be subject to final review and approval by the Berks County Solicitor's Office. This was discussed somewhat at length yesterday, again by Cody Kaufman at the Parks meeting, our Parks Advisory Board meeting. And there's two different projects, the force main, the pumping station. As a result, the Stone Cliff Park is limited in its access, and it's very possible that later this year there may be an overlap where it's entirely closed. So if you want to use the Stone Cliff Park, please check online at berkspa.gov and go to the Parks Department to check on the access of what is available. This is a necessary project through the city of Reading. Item 2, a motion to authorize the execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the contract agenda listing dated June the 2nd of 2025. There are 43 contracts. I do want to note that I have a conflict with one of those. That is a contract with the Area Agency on Aging and Berks Community Television. I sit as a member of the board of the Berks Community Television. Since neither of my colleagues sit in that role, I will abstain in voting for that particular contract. I've already communicated this to our Chief Clerk, Amanda Bensel. The contracts are as follows: 18 with the Area Agency on Aging, 8 with Children and Youth Services, 10 jointly with Children and Youth Services and Juvenile Probation, 1 with the Commissioners, 2 with the Berks County Jail, 2 with Facilities and Operations, and 2 with Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities. Item 3, a motion to authorize the execution of payments and electronic transfers for the week ending June 6, 2025.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented, but, well, we'll get a second. And I have a comment.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any comments?
I will be recusing myself from voting on item 166-2025, the part of the Berks Latino Workforce Development Corporation, due to a conflict of interest. My wife sits on that board.
Very good. We have a record of both of those abstentions. Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. With that, we'll move to reports of our treasurer and controller. We'll begin with our Berks County Treasurer, Mitch Darcourt. Mitch.
Thank you, Commissioner. Today we have an opening balance of $308,473,297.03. We have a balance to clear of $3,108,220.22, leaving us with a balance of $305,365,076.81. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. And now for the controller's report, we have Joe Rutterow. Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the week ending June 6, 2025, we have a total accounts payable of $5,974,288.01. We have an employee payroll of $5,417,490.80 for a total cash disbursement of $11,391,778.81. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move now to our Chief Operations Officer, Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. First, our team would like to thank the county, as always, on the human resource recommendations and improving all those, especially the promotion of George Rodriguez, who we've taken charge of the procurement department. And we regrettably are saying goodbye to Kelly Lawback, who has been here well over 20 years serving in that capacity. She's moving on to another opportunity, but we're welcoming George and saying goodbye to Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we will move to Commissioner's comments, and we'll begin with Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. A few items. I also want to congratulate George on his promotion to Director of Contracts and Procurement, and also wish Kelly Laubach well in her new endeavors. She's been here for a long time, and I'm sure she will be a benefit to where she is moving on to now. So welcome, George, and Kelly, best wishes. So this past Friday, we had the Municipal Government Officials Breakfast at the Colebrookdale Railroad. All three of us were there. Great opportunity to give an update of what's happening at the county level with our local municipal elected officials and allowing them the opportunity to ask us questions as well. We also had the opportunity to interact and speak with them during the event also, so a great event. Also this past Tuesday, there were two events on that day. One was by the Berks Area Agency on Aging and the PA Department of Banking and Securities, and it was the Elder Abuse Symposium. And it was designed for professionals who engage with adults 60 years and older. They had a keynote speaker, they had a panelist there, and it was basically around education on how to deal with elder abuse. What can you do to prevent? How do you report? How do you educate the people that you work with, the family members, and so forth? And one of the things that came out is that research shows that older adults who rely on care are more susceptible to abuse than others. So that's something that's really interesting. So those who need care are more susceptible to abuse. So if you have older parents, older grandparents, please keep an eye out for them. Make sure that they're being well taken care of, and that there's a lot of scams out there that target older adults. So please be aware of your family members and friends. Also on Tuesday, the Berks County Forensic Task Force, led by Connections Work, who is here today, they had the Berks County Reentry Strategic Plan discussion. About almost 25 different organizations, departments, or individuals there in attendance, from county departments to employers to other organizations around people who are justice involved, and had discussion around the Reentry Strategic Plan for 2025 and 2026. So thank you, Peggy and Nikki, for the work that you do around that. Also a great turnout there and good discussion as well. Yesterday morning, the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance had their Breakfast for Success. Sue Parati, who was the previous CEO of Tower Health, was the speaker there. All three of us were there. I think we all agree that it was a great breakfast, great information brought by Sue. I took tons of notes on how to be a better leader in the role that you are in. So thank you to the GRCA and Sue Parati for putting this on yesterday. A few events coming up. Tomorrow is the Literacy Council annual fundraising breakfast, and we will be honoring Ryan Bryce, who is the executive director. He has been there for 30 years and 15 of them as the executive director. So congratulations to the Literacy Council of Reading and Berks County, and to Ryan Bryce as well for his long service at that organization. Also this weekend is the World War II Parade and Weekend, but I will let Commissioner Leinbach speak about that further. Tomorrow night as well, because tomorrow's will be a long day. Tomorrow night is the 2025 Centro Hispano Daniel Torres Award Gala. And then a few other items on Monday. I will be in Harrisburg with the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania. We'll be meeting with different legislative leaders to solicit additional funding in the budget for mental health, which we all know is a huge concern. Then on Tuesday, we have the Strike Out the Stigma baseball game, which is put together by our Mental Health Developmental Disabilities group and some others. And it's around removing the stigma around mental health. So if you support mental health, if you want to help strike out the stigma around mental health, please make sure that you join us on Tuesday at the Fighting Field. And then on Wednesday, Commissioner Leinbach and I will be leaving for the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania Summer Board Retreat and Meeting in Indiana County. We'll be gone through Friday afternoon. At that retreat and board meeting, we will be selecting the new executive director for the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania. One last item. We do not have an elections board meeting today, but we do have one tomorrow in a special board meeting out of the regularly schedule, which will be tomorrow at 12. We will be breaking any ties. Do we have any ties? Do we know, Cody?
We
no
won't know
ties?
till we accumulate.
No, we need to accumulate the write-ins. That's correct. Okay, it doesn't look like we will. So we will be accumulating the write-ins, which there are many of them. We will breaking any ties if there are any, but apparently there are not. And we'll also will we be certifying the elections as well, Cody? And we will also be certifying the election results tomorrow as well. So please feel free to join us. We did have the 2% audit yesterday. That was done in person over at the SAM building. That was done. Everything went well. We didn't, although we do open it up to both parties to be there, we did not have any representative from either party there. So, but more information to follow tomorrow at the board meeting. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Dante Santoni.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Might be all over the place. I'm trying not to repeat. I just want to say the CELG event at Colebrookdale Railroad last Friday was a lot of fun. We had a lot of feedback. Yes, we gave remarks, but I think it was really important we had a chance to sit down with the local elected officials, local townships and boroughs, and get their feedback and the concerns that they have, and how we can work together. So I thought that was a great event. Just this past week, the board also met with the medical community, Berks County Medical Society, Berks Community Foundation, to talk about some of the things that we learned from COVID and what the county can do in helping to promote and provide health activities and safety for our community. So we'll be hopefully talking a little bit more about that as we move forward. The one thing I want to point out at the GRCA meeting with Sue Parati, I mean, she was terrific, unbelievable. She's the best. But she talked about civics, the importance of having civics education in our communities. And she talked about going into a first grade class and asking a question about what the 5 freedoms that we have, the 5 freedoms ensconced in the Constitution. And she asked if anybody wanted to raise their hand. Nobody did. But she gave, it's something I learned so that I'll never forget, RAPPS. They taught the kids RAPS, okay? Religion, assembly, press, petition, and speech. So if you want to remember those 5, RAPPS, RAPS. So that might give you a little bit, when you get questions at a cocktail party, you can throw that out there.
What kind of cocktail party would ask that kind of question?
Well,
I don't know.
Depends. I'm attending an event this afternoon and actually doing my TV show in conjunction with it. This might sound a little goofy, but it's called Goat Happy Hour. And it's done by the Schuylkill River Greenways. Elaine Schaefer is the executive director in conjunction with PA Fish and Boat Commission, Berks County, American Water. It's going to help provide the on-site boat launch and trailhead parking at Research Landing. And they hired, this is not a joke, it's serious. They hire a herd of 22 goats to spend 1 week at the site and clear all the invasive that they need to have removed. And then why are they hiring goats? They provide an ability to manage the property. They remove all the invasive species to improve biodiversity. Riverbank stabilization is essential to soil health. So it's a pretty interesting event. I'm going to go to it, and it's going to be part of my TV show. So tune in and learn about the goats.
Will you be doing goat yoga with them?
That's another activity that's out there, but no, this is separate. These are not the goats that you do yoga with. No. Okay. Yesterday we attended the opening of the grand opening, Bachman's corporate headquarters, which is a local family company and over in Wyomissing, and they are opening their corporate headquarters there. And I learned a little bit about the company. It's been around for a long time. It's a family-owned business, and I thought all the commissioners were there. I know Commissioner Leinbach gave remarks, and he might talk a little bit more about that. So I'll leave it. But it was a great event. I think it was the biggest ribbon cutting I was ever
by far. In my 18 years, not even close.
There was a lot of people there. Tomorrow is the Berks County Conservation District's legislative breakfast. All the commissioners will be in attendance, so I look forward to that. And that's going to be at Giorgio Mushroom Company.
I don't think we'll all be there.
Oh, no.
No,
We're
it's the
splitting-
literacy council.
He's a literacy
Okay,
council,
Okay, so we'll be
but
there.
we are.
Okay. Anyway, it's at Giorgio Food, which is a little close to my heart, as my father used to work there. So I look forward to getting a tour of the new Giorgio Foods. Congratulations to George Rodriguez and best wishes to Kelly Labach as they move into the future of their lives. And the last thing, I just want to recognize June is Pride Month and here in the Commonwealth and across the nation. Talks about the equality for the LGBTQ community and all the contributions that they provide to our community. There's a lot of activities occurring throughout the month of June. I encourage people to get on the LGBT Center of Greater Reading website, www.lgbtcenterofreading.com, to find out about all the activities that are occurring there and during Pride Month. And I just want to note, our commissioners' meetings next week, we do not have a meeting, and then on the 19th is a holiday. So our next meeting after today, I believe, will be June the 26th. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Santoni. I'm going to try not to repeat. I also, though, want to congratulate George Rodriguez on his appointment as a director of purchasing, and I also want to recognize Kelly. I'm in my 18th year. Kelly was here when I started. I'm sure wherever it is that she's heading, she will do a great job, but I want to thank her for her time and work here in purchasing over her many years with the county of Berks. Secondly, I received a letter it might have been the end of last week, and I shared it with my colleagues. I'm not going to share the name, but most of the time when somebody reaches out with an email or phone call or a letter, they're not sending us something to say how great we are, or not necessarily us. This is a complimentary letter, not about the commissioners, but about elections. I'm going to read. I am currently and have been for about 5 years a judge of elections. The purpose of this letter is to thank the board for hiring Ann Norton as director of the Board of Elections and to let you know that she is doing a remarkably good job supporting us. I practiced law for over 40 years and interacted with local officials throughout the United States in connection with large and often controversial energy projects. This experience taught me what good governance and leadership is, and by every measure, Ann is a living example of it. Here are some specifics. 1, Ann routinely attends election worker training sessions, listens, and often writes down the questions that are asked. I think that she views the questions as an indicator of where improvements are needed and follow-up. 2, Ann either herself or through her staff promptly responds to questions and requests. 3, when Ann is asked if a process can be changed, she explains directly and clearly if there is a legal, financial, or other constraint precluding its adoption. When it's possible to make change, she does so promptly, often giving credit to election workers for its suggestion. And 4, perhaps most importantly, her leadership demonstrates dedicated public service with integrity, virtue, and excellence. Through her actions, she sets the standard to which each poll worker understands they are expected to adhere. I told Ann that I was sending you this letter because I did not want to inadvertently do anything to complicate her already busy life. She smiled, thanked me, and told me that it was up to me to decide what to do. That's Ann, sincerely. This is even beyond a normal thank you letter. The detail that this individual provided just really makes me proud of our election department and the leadership that Ann provides. So I wanted to share that with the public. Secondly, I have been promoting and am going to continue to promote the Passport to History. However, there's a new twist in the Passport to History, and I will find out if I'm able to share my screen. Recently, the Reading Berks Visitors Bureau, and Heather Zimmerman is the new executive director, along with Heather Adams, reached out to me to meet and specifically, we'll find out if this works. Okay, we have a new system here. I'm sharing my picture. I don't want to share my picture. There we go, Carl. So the Visitors Bureau approached us. We're continuing to use the card. I can tell you I was just at Library Days on Monday at the Heritage Center and in the Epler Schoolhouse when a lady and a child walked in with this and had it stamped. But through the Visitors Bureau, we now have another option, and that is, and this isn't good, well, maybe it will. Not going to let me change it. There's an app. You're going to have to take my word for it. This is what the app looks like. It's the Visitors Bureau app. If you go to their website, which is, and I have it here, I'm not going to try to share it with you. Come on. It is visitpaamericana.com. Look for their app. You can download it there, but it is also on America250PABerks.com, Passport to History. You can get the link there. You download the app. I have it on my phone. You're able to go in, open the app. More importantly, go to their activity section, and there is now a place to go on the America 250 PA Berks. And if you're involved with third prize, second prize, grand prize, it depends how many links you get, but you click on it, it has the locations of all the participating organizations. In addition, if you want to know how to get there, get to their website, if you click the link on the far right, that takes you to that organization's website. This is a great addition. I want to thank Heather Zimmerman, and I talked to her yesterday afternoon. She said, don't thank me. I have no ability to put these apps together. I forget the lady's name, but they have a staffer that made this happen. Really exciting. Jonathan Heinzman was in that call. So Passport to Berks County, it's out there. You can go to any of these locations. They have the cards. The card is also inside the current edition of Berks First, but you can also go to America 250 PA Berks and get a link to the app, or go to the Reading Visitors Bureau and get a link to the app as well. A couple of other things that I want to touch on. The GRCA breakfast with Sue Perotti. She was unbelievable. I've known Sue for several years. Sue has done great work through her career, most recently leading the turnaround at Tower Health. But she shared a number of leadership tips, and I'm going to share a few of them. One of the big ones was she has come to believe, and I think she heard this through somebody else, there are three parts to a person's life: learn, earn, return. You think about that, it's pretty powerful. She said up until in your early 20s, you're learning. You go through school, grade school, high school, possibly college, and those early adult years, a lot of learning. Then you get into the core of your earning time. And then at some point, and often it occurs as you mature or you're moving towards retirement, you start focusing on how can you return? How can you return to the community all of the benefits? There were so many other things. Be aware of the spoken word. Does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said now? Learn to listen. When people are asking you a question, are you waiting to answer the question until they are finished asking their question? I struggle with that. I thought that's a really good point. Don't carry around grudges. Don't dwell on things, and this came from her mother. Don't dwell on things you cannot change, and you cannot change the past. There were a number of others. Well, actually, there's one other one. Be courageous. What's the worst thing that could happen? And she gave a very specific example in her banking days, and she concluded the worst thing that could happen was that they would fire me, but they couldn't shoot me, so I won't die. That's pretty powerful if you think about it. Think about the consequences, and are you willing to accept those consequences? And literally, as she described this incident, it was pretty clear she could have been fired. And she left the meeting thinking she was fired. They didn't say it, but there was no agreement with her in the meeting, and a very significant former local bank. And then after the meeting, one of the key players in that came to her and basically said, I'm with you. Let's do this. And it actually went forward. Without her courage, that would not have happened. So I just want to thank Sue publicly, not just for her leadership, but for her frankness and inspiration.
Rebecca. Okay. I was on phone calls.
Can you get that, Carl?
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you. You're welcome. Just very, very powerful. Last item, I will be at Goat Happy Hour this evening. Happy Hour and Goat Yoga. Having never done it, never seen it.
It's not yoga.
No yoga.
I know it's not goat yoga, but somebody asked you, it was your colleague here. It creates a picture I don't know what to do with because I've never seen goat yoga. They wish it was goat yoga. So I'll be there. The Bachman event, I don't know what it was. I know Bachman is a well-known local company, but there had to be 100+ people there, easy. Yeah. And I have, normally when you go to a ribbon cutting, you've got the GRCA folks there. They do a great job. And you have some of the key people in the company, a handful of elected officials. A lot of times there's more elected officials than there are anybody else. Not this time. And it really is great to see. It's way more than Bachman Roofing, Bachman Solar. They have DeLong's. I saw you had the list here. Yeah, Bachman's Roofing, Bachman's Management, Bachman's Construction, Bachman's Auto Repair and Mervine's Exhaust, Be Gone Waste, Carl L. Heath HVAC, and the DeLong Christmas Tree Farm, all under the Bachman headquarters. And I might add, a family business, third generation, 53 years. And the power of a family business in the community is big. And we have a plethora of family businesses, small, medium, and large in Berks County. I think we're really blessed with it. But congratulations to the folks at Bachman. And that's all that I have. Moving on, any comments from our row officer?
I don't have anything at this time.
Nothing to offer at this time either. Thank you.
No public comment. That brings us to the end of our agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
The meeting stands adjourned.